So you guys, today I'm going to be teaching y'all a lesson, and something we're going to be learning is going to be a big fancy word called schema, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So I want y'all to look up here. I have a chart and I have firefighter and mayor. Can anyone tell me what a firefighter is? Callan?
It helps people.
Helps people, okay. Alright, let's do Trey.
And the firefighter put out fire.
Put out fire. Alright, Zoe, you have something?
Well, when someone made a mistake when their house is on fire, they put it down.
So they put down fires, so they help people, they put out fires. Has anyone ever seen a firefighter? So lots of you have. What do they look like?
They had a helmet.
Helmet on.
Some uniforms.
So they wear a helmet, they wear a uniform. Do y'all know anything else about firefighters?
Nope. No.
Oh, Callan's got his hand raised.
They save people in their cells.
So they save people. And then Ashton, did you say that your uncle's a firefighter? So we can add that. So these are all called connections. So all these are things that you know about firefighters already. So this is called background information, or the big fancy word is schema. So stuff that you've already learned or know, and this can be stuff you've learned from a book, from living your life, from being taught in school, from watching a television show. So it's all stuff you already know. So what about a mayor? Can anyone tell me anything about a mayor? Zoe? Alright, so does anyone know anything about a mayor? Callan?
The president?
Not the president. It's okay if you guys don't know.
The mayor, take orders, do not steal stuff.
They don't steal stuff, yeah. What about you, Trey?
Is that the mayor actually gives out orders?
Gives out orders. Okay, that's a good one. So I know that you guys don't know a lot about a mayor, but that's okay. You don't have to. That just means that you don't have a schema for it. So that means you don't have background information about it. And that's okay, because you can always build your schema and learn more. And that's what we want you to do. Because when you were a baby, you probably didn't know what a firefighter was. But you learned as you grew. And mayor, not a lot of us know. Trey knows a little bit. But we're all going to learn a little bit more maybe today. Or maybe in more lessons. Trey?
Actually, I do know a lot because we were actually watching stuff about the mayor in our classroom with her.
Oh, that's good. So Trey knows a lot, but maybe everyone else doesn't, and that's okay. We're not always going to know everything, but we can build our schema, which is that word that I'm going to talk about a lot today, which is growing the knowledge that you know. So I'm going to go ahead, and we're going to get started on reading our book today. But while we're reading, I want you guys to make connections to the story. So I'm going to give an example of what a connection is. And I'm going to stop on some pages and ask you to help you out. But maybe a connection so Ashton said that his uncle is a firefighter. That's a connection. Yeah? So he has a connection. Or it could be that you've just seen a firefighter. That's a connection. So while I read, if there's something maybe you've seen before, you've heard before, maybe you've read it in a book. So you're going to try and make a connection. It could even be a feeling. So maybe someone in the story is happy. And your connection could be that I've been happy once. So, but I'm going to help you guys out a little bit so you understand it a little bit more while I read. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give everyone a sticky note. So if y'all want to go grab your pencils from your cubby box, or go grab your box, I'm going to pass them out. That's okay. I'll explain to y'all what we're doing with this sticky note. And you don't have to use the sticky note either if you don't want to.
I said I know what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Okay. I think everyone's got a sticky note now. So this sticky note is going to be for while we read. If you have a connection, you can write it down. But you don't have to. If you want and you don't want to write it down and maybe you'd rather share with everyone, you can raise your hand and I'll call on you. The sticky note is just if you don't want to tell everyone, you don't have to. And if you don't know how to spell the word, that's okay. You can just try your best. And we're going to talk about it at the end. So even if you can remember the connection, that's okay too. If you don't want to write it down or share it while I'm reading. But I'm going to stop and ask people throughout the story. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So make sure you're listening. So we have the book called Who Will I Be by Abby Huntsman. So looking at just the cover page, I can make a connection with this book because the girl has a dog in her lap and I have a dog at home. So that's a connection. So it can be something as simple as that. Alright, so let's get started. So, who do you want to be when you grow up? Asked Isabel's teacher. So, does anyone already have a connection with that maybe? Something they want to share? Zoe?
They're sharing about what you want to be when you grow up.
Yeah, so Zoe said they're sharing what they want to be. How you could make that a connection is that maybe your teacher has asked you that before. And I know she has for some of y'all because we've done some activity sheets that asked you what you wanted to be. So that's a connection that y'all have had your teacher ask you that before. So maybe you feel like the girl in the book, or you know how the girl in the book, or what the girl in the book is doing. You've been in that situation, so that's a connection to the story, which can help with your schema because when you make those connections, you remember things a little bit better. Everyone around Isabel waved their hands in the air. They all had an answer. So one girl said, I want to be a businesswoman. One girl said, I want to be a basketball player. One boy said, I want to be an artist. How about you? Isabel, Miss Livingston asked. I don't know, she said. And that bothered her. Has anyone ever felt like that before? They've been confused because maybe they didn't know what to do. So, Callan, you've always known what you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Help my dad.
Help your dad? So that's good. Did you have something, Kylie?
I want to be a vet.
You want to be a vet? Ooh, there's one in the story. Tins and Grace. You want to be a teacher, Zoe?
I want to be a wizard.
You want to be a wizard? That's a cool one. So see, that, you guys, is a connection to the story because y'all may not feel like Isabel where she's confused and doesn't know what she wants to be, but y'all are like the other kids in the story who y'all do know what you want to be. So that could be a connection. It bothered Isabel during lunch, during music class, and during gym. It was still bothering her when her dad picked her up after school. I don't know who I want to be when I grow up, Isabel told her dad. Well, her dad said, what makes you happy? Last week, I went to the pool with Kayla, Isabel said. That made me happy. And selling cookies at the charity bake sale was fun. Isabel thought of another thing. We found that man's pet parrot, remember? It made me happy that we helped him. Maybe you want to be someone who helps people then, my dad suggested. So right there, that's a connection that Callan could make because he said when he wants to grow up, he wants to be someone who helps his dad. So he can have a connection with he wants to be someone who helps too. Helper isn't a job, Dad, Isabel replied. Of course it is, her dad said. Lots of jobs are all about helping to make the world a better place. Isabel wasn't too sure. Let's take the long way home, Isabel's dad said. I want to show you some people who have jobs helping others. We'll start right here at your school, Isabel's dad said. Who do you see? I see my teacher, said Isabel, and I see the crossing guard. So this right here is a crossing guard. Your teacher helps you learn, and the crossing guard helps you stay safe, said Isabel's dad. Isabel had never thought of it that way. Let's see who else we can find, said Isabel's dad. A man in a white coat walking a dog gave Isabel a friendly wave. He's a veterinarian, Isabel's dad told her. He helps people by making their pets feel better. So Kylie has a connection because remember you said you wanted to be a vet? So she has a connection if she wants to be a vet too. And there's a vet in our story. Does anyone else have anything so far that they want to share? Anything that maybe they know about already?
No.
Okay, that's okay. Some people help their own by joining the police force, or they help their whole country by joining the military, Isabel's dad told her. Yeah, Callan?
I see an army man, and they keep people safe.
They do.
And sometimes one of their pets die, like in a war, like a German Shepherd or anything.
That's okay. You still made a connection. So Callan made a connection with the real world. So that means that he made a connection with something he knows about military people in real life. So he knows that they serve to help our country. And it also talks about, there's the police officer over there. So they help by keeping us safe, Isabel's dad said. Isabel and her dad overheard the policeman ask an older woman, "May I walk you to the library, ma'am?" So I just said the word library. Does anyone have a connection there? Has anyone seen a library?
Yeah.
You all should see a library. We have one in the school. Does anyone have a connection with it? Like maybe, how does it make you feel when you walk into the library? Callan?
Sometimes I just read lots of books.
Mm-hmm.
My parents like the library, and I just get lots of books.
You just get lots of books. So Callan knows that the library is a place where he gets lots of books. What about you, Ray?
I have one thing that I want to draw.
Yeah?
I want to be like a trainer animal.
Yeah, so you want to train animals?
Yeah, like the first one that I want to train when I grow up is a bat.
Yeah, a bat.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's interesting.
And we did back in like kind of a little light in her.
Yeah.
And think it's good. I can like pieces of fruit.
Yeah, that would be good. So that is Ray's connection of he knows what he wants to be when he grows up. What about you, Jake?
I want to be a vet.
You want to be a vet too? So that's a connection you made with the story of you want to be a vet too, and a connection you make with Kylie.
No, it's not a vet. It's a trainer, dog trainer.
Oh, so kind of like Ray. So that's kind of a connection. Y'all both want to train animals. So see, you can make connections with a story, but you can also make connections with each other. Did you have something, Trey? Oh, I thought you had your hand raised. Okay. So let's stop at the library, Isabel said her dad. Hi, whispered the librarian. Do you need help finding a book? I could also sign you up for our book club. Yes, thank you, Isabel whispered. Happy to help, the librarian whispered back. So I have a connection with that because, and this is called a text-to-text connection, so that's relating one book to another book, so seeing similarities between them. I read a book about 2 weeks ago. It's called Finding Langston. And in the story, the little boy feels really out of place because he just moved to Chicago. And so he decides one day to go to the library. And that is where everything changes for him because the librarian helps him, just like the one in this story, and makes him feel happy and becomes his friend and helps him find books that he likes, which is something that I know normal librarians do in real life. So that's a connection to the world, but also a connection to another book. Ray?
I have 3 things that I want to The first thing that you need to know that I'm going to be a trainer.
Uh-huh.
And second thing, I'm going to be a gamer.
A gamer, okay.
Like my big brother Sam.
Yeah.
And the first thing, I just want to be me.
You just want to be you? Well, that's good. That's the best thing you can be, is yourself. So Rafe has even more connections. He knows of even more stuff he wants to be when he grows up. So kind of like how Isabel's seeing all these different jobs that she could be, Rafe knows a bunch of different jobs that he wants to have when he grows up.
Yeah, but Sam, is my big brother.
Mm-hmm.
He is good at dance, but I'm never good at dance.
I'm sure you'll get better. It'll take time. So let's go to the park, said Isabel. Can you spot the helpers here? Isabel's dad asked her. Isabel looked around. So I just mentioned a park. Can anyone make a connection to a park? Has anyone seen a park before? Lots of you have seen parks. What did you do at the park?
We played.
So Tinsley Grace, they played. Anyone else?
We played and we swung on the sweet set.
Okay, what about you, Callan?
You can find new friends.
You can find new friends at a park. So what kinds of things did you guys see when you were at the park?
People.
People? Anything else? Huh?
Lots of people.
Lots of people. Did y'all see anyone working while they were there or helping other people?
They were helping other people.
Helping other people?
Well, sometimes I was like picking up trash there.
Yeah, so sometimes Rafe has helped. He's picked up trash there. What about you, Callan? You had your hand raised?
Also other people picking up trash and I helped them.
That's good. So both of y'all have a connection to each other. Both of y'all have picked up trash at the park.
Mm-hmm.
So let's... Oh.
I was doing that was one day.
Uh-huh.
The coronavirus wasn't here.
Oh, so that was before all the coronavirus. Yep, I did a lot before then. So let's read to see what else Isabel sees at the park. She saw an activist asking those passing by to sign a petition. So those are people that want change. She saw a gardener in a city uniform, and she saw the garbage man. So that's kind of connection for Callan and Rafe because in the story they have a garbage man, and even though they aren't garbage men, they helped pick up trash to keep the park clean. So that's a connection. He's helping by keeping our city clean and beautiful. There really were helpers everywhere. Next, Isabel and her dad passed a church. The pastor was out front. What's your favorite thing about your job? Isabel asked him. Helping other people, he said. I also like volunteering at the soup kitchen next door, he added. Can we help with that too? Isabel asked. They worked at the soup kitchen until Isabel's dad's phone buzzed. Want to go meet Mom at her office? Isabel's dad asked. On the way, a reporter was interviewing a fireman who'd rescued a kitten. Journalists make sure we know what's happening, Isabel's dad said. You should take that cat to a veterinarian in case it's hurt, Isabel told the fireman. There's one right down the street. So I have a connection with that. I have had to take my cat to the veterinarian before. So that's a connection to the story because that's something that happened in the story, but also happened in my life. Soon, Isabel and her dad arrived to meet her mom. "Mom!" Isabel yelled and ran to hug her. Isabel's mom worked at the mayor's office. So remember that word we were talking about in the beginning? Mayor? So now that's a connection. It's showing up in the story. So let's read to find out what it says. "I'm learning all about service," Isabel said. So service is how you help people. "Do you help people?" "I do," her mom said. "My job is to help the people of the city by listening to them and passing laws to make their lives better." So Isabel's mom is the mayor. And remember at the beginning we were talking about a mayor. We didn't know much about him. Well, we know now that they work in an office. They pass laws to help people. And they help people just like a fireman does. It's just a different way. Isabel had a lot to think about. There are so many different ways of helping people and so many different jobs to choose from. "I still don't know who I want to be when I grow up," she told her dad. "But I know one thing. I want to be a helper." All right, so that's the end of that story. We made a few connections throughout the story. And it's okay that we didn't make a lot because we're still learning how to do this. Did anyone write any down or did y'all just all share them? I don't think anyone wrote any down. And that's okay. You didn't have to write them down. The sticky note was just in case you needed to remember something and I hadn't called on you. So that's okay. That means we got to everybody. So now let's go back to this. So we were talking about a mayor and we didn't know much. So I'm going to use a different color. And I want you guys to tell me what you learned about a mayor. And it doesn't have to be much. The whole book wasn't about a mayor, but it was mentioned. So can anyone think of anything in the story about a mayor? Jake? They pass laws. Zoe?
You work on where?
Huh? You want me to come back to you?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you have, Tinsley Grace?
They help people.
They help people?
Isn't it like when you what the PGN stands for?
Yeah, what's it stand for?
P stands for cleaner, and D stands for cleaner, and N stands for
Me? That's good. So Rafe did fill out his sticky note. What he put on there was the things that he wanted to be, because that was a connection he made with this story. All right. And Callan, did you have your hand raised? She said what you wanted to say. Does anyone else have something about a mayor? Rafe?
I don't have something about a mayor, but I have like I help a lot at my house.
Yeah.
Now, like the garden, and I think these days we're gonna plant some trees.
Oh, that'll be good. So Rafe helps a lot at home. So he's a helper, just like Isabel wanted to be, and all the jobs in the story were helpers. So Rafe has a connection with the story that he helps. What did you want to say, Callan?
They save people.
They save people. So they don't necessarily save people, but they do help people. A firefighter does save people, but a mayor doesn't necessarily save anybody. Trey?
Well, I actually have helped people before.
Yeah? So Trey has helped before, so that's a connection with the story that he had, is that he's helped people before. So let's think about a mayor. So who is the mayor in the story? Her mom, Isabel's mom. So that's something we know now about the story, was that Isabel's mom was a mayor. So we can write that down.
What she is in real life.
Yeah, she might be.
Can you help me spell
because someone named Abby wrote it, and maybe she knows someone who's a mayor, and that's why she included it. Does anyone else have anything about a mayor? So let's see. So this is why I used 2 different colors, is that I wanted to point out, and we're going to bring back up that big word, schema. You guys have built your schema because at the beginning we only knew one thing, but now we know 1, 2, 3, 4. We know 4 things. So we've added 3 things to our list. So that's 3 things we have learned. So that's good. Even if we don't build our schema or the knowledge that we already know, like crazy amounts at once, as long as we learn one thing, that's good. So now we're going to do an activity. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And I can put back up in a minute if you guys need it. So we are going to do an activity. Oh, sorry, Ray. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to pass these out real quick. And I'm going to go over it before you guys start and do it by yourself, so don't start yet. You can put your name on it if you want in the top. I know there's not a spot for it, but if you just put your name anywhere on it, that would be good. That way I know whose it is. Did you do something, Jake? Oh, you wrote something? Veterinarian? Okay, so Tinsley Grace wrote down veterinarian because maybe she had a connection with it. Alright. And you want to be a wizard, so Zoe wrote the connection of I want to be a wizard. So that way she remembered at the beginning of the story that they talked about what they wanted to be, and she wants to be a wizard. Alright, so yeah.
Do we get to color it?
We can color it at the end. First I want you guys just to fill it out.
Okay.
So I'm just going to use a marker. So first what you're going to do is you're going to trace the word. So I'm going to start on teacher first, so if you guys want to do teacher with me, but y'all can start on firefighter first. So it says I can be a teacher. So I'm going to trace that. So what I want you guys to do, let me pass out one more part actually. I forgot to give you guys the sheets. Okay. So I'm giving you these pictures too. You're not going to do anything with them yet, but you will be using them in just a second.
That's cool how it like moves again and you're
Yeah, it's supposed to. Yes, Jake? Yeah, you can use your restroom. Just come back. Huh? I'm going to be doing something with these pictures. Not yet. It will be in just a minute. We don't go till 8:45.
I think we're still at 8:45.
No, it's 8:30.
What?
Yeah. So we haven't got our mask break yet. We will in just a few minutes. Yeah, you like the cat? Cat's cute. Okay, so first, I'm going to give y'all an example of what we're going to be doing with those pictures that I just handed you. Because maybe they don't really make a lot of sense why I handed them to you, but they will. So this says I can be a teacher. So what I want you guys to do, and we're not going to color it till the end, but on each picture, so I know there's the firefighter, the police officer, I think a vet, and the teacher. So you're going to write a connection. So it could be something as simple as one word, like helps people. That's 2. But my connection for a teacher, and you can write it anywhere on the page, is I want to be one. So I'm going to write I want to be one. And if you don't know how to spell something, that's okay. I'm going to walk around in a minute, and I'm going to help you guys, so that way you don't have to try and spell everything on your own. So what you're going to do is make a connection, and it can be something from the story, like for the firefighter, you could write cat because it saved a cat. But also, what you're going to do with the pictures is you have 4 pictures and you have 4 jobs. So with the pictures, you're going to match the picture to the person. So for the teacher, there's a student sitting at a desk. That would go with the teacher because the teacher helps students. So what you're going to do is whatever that person does to help something, it's going to go with that. So you guys can try with that, and I'm going to help you. And that's just helping you build more connections so you can see the pictures. And some may go with more than one. It's very possible because, yes, Trey? What? So you can just place them on the sheet, and as long as I see that you got it, that's okay. It's just helping you kind of like see the connection in case maybe you can't think of one. You can match the picture with it and be like, oh yeah, this is how it connects. You're done? So, yeah, good job. So remember, you need to write a connection that you can make, and I can help you with that. And I'm going to put back up our chart we made, because maybe you might need it for the one about a firefighter, because you guys had some awesome connections, but I know sometimes it's hard to remember them. So I'm going to put it back up here, so in case you had to look at it, and also it has some of the words, so if you need help spelling. So y'all start on that, and I'm going to be walking around and helping you guys. You have something, right? You need help? Oh yeah, I still got it. Yeah? I know, that's what you want to be. These are just jobs that were in the story that I want you to look at and make a connection with. So I know it's not what you want to be, and it doesn't have to be what you want to be, because I didn't know what everyone wanted to be before I taught the lesson, so I couldn't plan that. But if maybe one thing is something you want to be, like Ashton for firefighter could write my uncle, and that's a connection.
What do you want to be?
What do I want to be when I grow up? I want to be a teacher. That's why I'm standing up here helping you guys, because I like helping students. I like helping y'all learn things. No? You don't think I like helping people, Hector?
You do.
If y'all do want to glue down the pictures, you can. You just don't have to. The pictures are just if you want to connect them yourself. I think. Do they have a glue stick in there? Yeah, so if y'all want to glue them down, y'all have glue sticks, because I know Rafe is gluing his down because he wants to. So if y'all want to, you can. You just don't have to. It's just to help you build a connection. So go ahead and start. First, start by tracing the word, and then you can glue the pictures too first if you want, and then write a connection. And it doesn't have to be anything too hard, and if you need help thinking of one, just ask me. I can help you. I'm here to help.
These are cute.
Well, they've got tons of glue. That's good. Do you need help opening it? Oh, there we go. It was hard to open.
I didn't glue on my Sorry, close the glue. Sorry, glued them.
Yeah, you can glue them on. I'm good with that.
You don't have to though.
Yeah, you don't have to. I just want you to use the pictures kind of to help you.
Put it sideways so it could fit.
Mm-hmm. So you can start by matching the pictures if you need to help you. I know it's cold, but I'm just gonna help you deal with it. You got a sweatshirt on? Good job, Callie. Yeah, so the cat, I know a lot of you guys are putting the cat with a firefighter, and it can, but there's also another one that it can go
Hey,
with.
look, come here.
Yes, sir.
It's the veterinarian.
The teacher doesn't help a cat.
No, it's the blue. Look, does this?
The book? Well, the book, the firefighter helped the cat, but also there's on the second page a vet, and the vet helps animals, so you can put it there.
Okay.
I'll be over there in just 1 second, right? This one?
This one right.
So the cat, actually, it can go with a firefighter. But also, I want you to look on this page. There's a cat. So I would put it over that one's right. You can leave that one. That one's right. There's a house fire.
I'm putting the tires in the
Yeah.
hand sanitizer.
That works perfectly.
And I'm gonna
And once you're finished, you can color it. You're finished? Well, you
Does
guys,
it matter if you
you won't want to glue them down? You want to try gluing them down so that they don't move everywhere? And then I'll help you write, okay? Bless you. Oh, that looks good, Ray.
Why every time I see it, it looks like that?
Yeah, you have orange and white one? I do too.
Oh yeah, did you know that commercial where we sat sitting down when you're bored?
Oh, yeah?
That also looks like my cat.
Yeah. So Jake just had a connection. The picture of the cat is orange and white, and he has an orange and white cat at home. So that's a connection too. And I have the same one because I have an orange and white cat too. That's why I use that one.
I have a kitten that I look at and the same as that one, and he's a little baby.
Oh yeah. So Tinsley Grace also has a connection. She has a cat that looks like the one in the picture too. All right. How you doing? What? Oh, you got them. Did you glue them down, or are you just putting them on there? Glue
Hey,
them down. Oh, you can go. Do you want me to open your glue?
hey, this is that.
No.
I know.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you want to be a zooer. Yeah.
Oh, so a zoo person, someone who takes care of zoo animals. So that can be called a zookeeper. You want me to open it? All right, here you go, Brandon, and you can glue them down. And if you need help, just raise your hand or ask me. Yes, Jake?
Do you have to do all of it?
Yes, I want you to try and do all of them if you can. And if you need help, just ask me.
She has wings.
And all these jobs are ones that happen in the story. So if you can think about what happened in the story, you can use that. If you can't, let me know, and I can maybe let you look in the book as a help.
When you like go over there, turn around and look for them.
What's a connection with a firefighter? Or maybe something you know about a firefighter.
I tried to
We've also got someone with the word.
This one.
So you can put help people or put out fires. So for each one, you can put, and it can be something that they do. It doesn't have to necessarily be a connection because maybe you don't have one, but you can write what that person does. Like a teacher helps kids. So as you guys are working for about 5 more minutes, and it's okay if you don't finish, I just want you guys to remember that today, does anyone remember what that word was that I was talking about, that weird word? Zoe? Does anyone else remember what that word was? It's a weird word. I'll write it on the board after I say it. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. So that word that I was talking about, and maybe I should have written it at the beginning because it's a weird word and it's not going to be spelled the way you think it is. It's called a schema. So that's S-C-H-E-M-A. And so how I learned about a schema when I was in 3rd grade was my teacher always said that it's called your mind's eye. So it's what you see when you hear different things. So like maybe when I was reading that book and you saw the school, maybe in your mind's eye you were thinking about your school or maybe your homeroom class with your teacher. So it's the things you see while you read a story. And that's how you can also make connections. So it's a weird word, but it's called schema. And it'll help you a lot because when you're making that connections, you can sometimes understand or remember a story a little bit better. Because I always remember things if they kind of go along with my personal life or connect with me. And also, we did learn a lot of things today because you guys are working on this, but also we added to the mayor's list. So that's called building your schema, so you're learning more. Yes, Brandon? You want to do the second page now? And glue those pictures down? I would like for you to, if you can. You can just glue down the pictures. How you doing, Hector? Good job. So now, what's something a firefighter does? Puts out fire. What's something a teacher does? They do what? They teach.
Wait, is it a teacher or
It's a teacher. I don't have a mayor on there just because I knew that was probably something new you guys were learning. And I didn't want to make y'all have to think too hard about it because you're still just learning about it. Yeah, so they help people too. So like the teacher is helping the lady across the street. So that they take care of a cat. Good job, Brandon. Good job. Yeah, they have dogs, so they help all kinds of animals. They don't just help cats. So that's why it has a dog too. Yes, I'll come right back to you. I'm going to take these.
what do you have to do when you're done?
So I want you to, if you can, write ways that they help people in the community. So we have some words up there for firefighter, like helps people put out fire. So you can use some of those. You can even talk about maybe the clothes they wear.
Yeah, I know they wear those heavy things.
Yeah, they wear those heavy things. So it's a teacher. So how does a teacher help? What do they do? So we can say they teach kids. So you can put that. So teach kids, and see teach is right here. That word right there is teach, without the ER. So they teach kids. All right, you guys. And so I think we're gonna have to wrap up because I think we're about to take our mass break. So if y'all want to put everything down and get ready to go do that.
After that, what about firefighter?